Seen that shit.
But before I hop right into it, I'd like to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video, SeatGeek. Now, I know you guys have already heard of this app, but if you haven't, I would highly recommend that you go check it out. SeatGeek is an app that takes all the confusion out of buying a ticket. Be it a game, concert, Broadway show, whatever the occasion may be, they got you. And they even give you a out of 10 score on each ticket to know if you're getting a good or a bad deal. Green good, red bad. And if you're still kind of iffy on it, if you use my promo code ModernHoops, you'll get $20 off your first purchase. And there will be a link to it in the description box below. And remember, if you use my promo code ModernHoops, you will get $20 off your first purchase. So go check them out. So the 2019 NBA free agency started the other day on Sunday, and oh my goodness, what a crazy day it was. D'Lo to the Warriors, Al Horford to the 76ers, and Jimmy Butler to the Miami Heat. We got a lot of unexpected signings and trades, and of course we got the ones that a lot of us already saw coming, like Kyrie and Kevin Durant to the Brooklyn Nets, but it was still pretty insane because it was now official. But first off, I wanted to introduce you guys to some crazy facts about the 2019 NBA free agency. So prior to the start of the 2019 NBA free agency, there was a total of 200 players who are going to be free agents. That's 40% of the league. And on the first day of the 2019 NBA free agency, there was a total of $3 billion spent in new contracts given to NBA players. That's a lot of money, like a lot. But with that being said, with having that many players being free agents and having spent all that money in a single day, there had to have been a couple bad contracts here and there. You know, this seems to happen every offseason where an NBA team offers some ridiculous amount of money to a player that may not deserve it. For example, this past summer, the Houston Rockets, or to be more specific, Daryl Morey, thought it was a good idea to offer a 32-year-old injury-prone point guard and Chris Paul a 4-year, $160 million contract extension. And to put that into perspective, Chris Paul was the 4th highest paid player in the NBA this past season. That's higher than James Harden, who was in 10th place. So James Harden wasn't even the highest paid player on the team. It was Chris Paul. And it gets even worse. The Houston Rockets will be stuck paying a 36-year-old Chris Paul $44 million. Like, I don't make this stuff up. And there were even reports or rumors earlier this offseason that Daryl Morey had regrets over that CP3 contract. I mean, if we're being honest, anybody would. Like, why even offer that type of contract to Chris Paul in the first place? But seeing how injury prone of a player Chris Paul already is, after maybe this season, this will probably be the worst contract in the NBA, if not already. But to name a few other examples of terrible contracts in recent years, there was Chandler Parsons in 2016, and of course the Knicks. You know, the Knicks had to be on here, offering Joakim Noah a 4-year, $72 million contract in 2016. Also, keep in mind that this was coming off a season where he only averaged 4 points and played 29 games in Chicago. But with that being said, in today's video, I wanted to talk about 5 terrible contracts that were given out on Sunday or so far this offseason. But I do want you guys to keep in mind that some of these contracts may not seem that bad right now, but could be a burden in the future. But before I do get into the video, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and leave a like if you guys enjoyed this video, and click on that bell to stay notified when I post a brand new video. Now, with all that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into this video. So, coming at number 1 is Al Horford. Now, prior to the start of free agency on Sunday, we got reports that Al Horford was going to opt out of his contract with the Celtics to renegotiate a new long-term deal with them. But then that changed, and we got reports that he was going to leave, which was another big blow for Celtics fans. Losing Kyrie and Big Al, you know, that's gotta be tough. But on Sunday, the 76ers ended up signing Al Horford to a 4-year, $109 million contract, and I can't say that I wasn't shocked. Now, as it stands today, Al Horford's contract isn't that bad, especially in regards to what he still provides on the court. He's still one of the best versatile bigs the league has to offer. He's a great defender. He's able to space the floor, set screens, make plays, and all that great stuff. But the problem is, how long can we expect his amazing play to last? See, Al Horford is currently 32 years old, and the 76ers will be paying him $25 million at the age of 36. And it's safe to say from this point on, his production will only go down every season. Also, there are some questions about his fit on this roster. The ideal contract for Al Horford would have been around maybe $86 million to maybe $90 million. I don't know what his value was on the market, but I feel like they could have gotten him for a lot cheaper. It may not seem that bad right now, but they could end up regretting this contract as he gets older. But coming at number 2 is another 76ers player in Tobias Harris. Now, I'm not that surprised that the 76ers retained Tobias Harris, but I am in shock at the amount of money they offered this man. A 5-year, $180 million contract, just short of a full 5-year max contract. Now, don't get me wrong, I get the fact that he's only 26 years old, he's still pretty young, and that he's a great versatile player. He's made a lot of major strides these past couple of seasons, and Tobias Harris is actually one of my favorite players in the league, but $180 million, that's only $10 million less than what the Warriors are offering Klay Thompson, and more than the Mavericks are paying Kristaps Porzingis over the same time period. And you can make a case that a fully healthy Kristaps Porzingis is better than the healthy Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris is simply not worth that type of money, and he'll struggle to reach the production of that type of money. He's not a Kevin Durant or even a Kemba Walker. And look, I get the fact that he fits in perfectly with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, but with Al Horford now in the mix, he'll probably have to slide down to the 3, which isn't his natural position, and might struggle to keep up with some of the faster forwards in the NBA. And I know that the 76ers didn't really have a choice. They had to re-sign him, especially after giving up all those assets trading for him. But just like Al Horford, I feel like they could have gotten him for a lot less, because he's simply not worth that amount of money. And dealing with a massive contract like that could really hinder their future. But the 76ers are an interesting team, but they do have a lot of question marks. But next, coming at number 3 is Khris Middleton. So just like Tobias Harris, Khris Middleton also fell short of a Supermax deal, with the Bucks offering him a 5-year, $178 million contract with a player option in his 5th season, unlike Tobias Harris. Now, I get the fact that Middleton is an all-star and that he's the Bucks' second option behind Giannis, and I also get the fact that the Bucks didn't really have a choice. They had to re-sign him. It was the best way to ensure Giannis signs a long-term deal with them in 2021. And if you also include the fact that they also lost Malcolm Brogdon, yeah, they really didn't have a choice. But that doesn't change the fact that Khris Middleton isn't worth that amount of money, and it's hard to see his production matching that amount of money. The Bucks are basically betting on him to be that franchise number 2 guy that will take them over the hump as title contenders as he enters the prime years of his career. But once again, don't get me wrong, Khris Middleton is still an amazing player, but it's hard to see him matching the production of a contract that massive, and this will only hinder the Bucks front office in terms of flexibility to add additional players. And the ideal contract for Middleton would have maybe been around $140 million, but once again, this was something that was going to happen. They had no choice, and now we'll see how it all works out. But coming in at number 4 is Terry Rozier. First off, the Charlotte Hornets has to be the worst ran franchise in the league right now. Like, the decisions they're making makes no absolute sense. So if you weren't going to offer Kemba a max, or at least the amount of money he deserves, why in the world did you not trade him and gain some valuable assets to build around? Nah, Instead, let's offer a 3-year, $58 million contract to a player that simply does not deserve it. And you know, let's be honest, besides that 2018 playoff run, Terry Rozier hasn't shown us that he deserves $20 million a season. This past season, he totally underperformed as the backup point guard for the Celtics, averaging 9 points while shooting a respectable 35% from the 3, but a terrible 39% from the field. I mean, I don't know what the Hornets were thinking. Maybe they were just in a hurry to gain something after losing Kemba, but this wasn't the move. Lastly, coming at number 5 is Harrison Barnes. So when Harrison Barnes declined his player option worth $25 million, I thought it was a bad idea because I didn't really see teams offering him that much money in free agency. But that's obviously not what the Kings had in mind, as they offered him a 4-year, $85 million contract. Now, Harrison Barnes is a solid player, but that's way too much for a player that only averaged 14 points for them last season, and he's not a player that really stands out. But with that being said, his contract won't kill the Kings from a cap perspective, but it probably won't make them a whole lot better either. I have no idea why teams keep offering Barnes these hefty contracts, but whoever his agent is deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. Now, I'm not against NBA players getting paid. Of course, if you're offered that type of money, obviously anybody would accept it, but some of these moves by NBA franchises doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But that is all I got for you guys today, and let me know down in the comment section below, do you guys agree with this list, and is there any players I left out? Once again, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. But with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, share, and subscribe for more NBA content. And while you're at it, please give your boy a follow on the gram and on Twitter. I'll leave links to my social media in the description box below and in the comment section below. But I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you all later. Peace.